We're back to commence work on our paper 2, and essentially paper 2 will focus on algebra and statistics. That's usually the focal point of paper 2 of this exam, algebra and statistics. Paper 1 essentially will look at numbers and numerations and what's the other one called? Geometry and sometimes trigonometry. So that's what paper 1 will cover. Paper 2 is my best. It's my best, and although students sometimes will complain about paper 2 that is somewhat tricky and whatever, but I was very impressed in the last exam when I took a child through and I was going through her soft questions, and she did so well in her paper 2, scoring about 48/60 by my assessment. That's good. Because I've learned from this exam that tactically you must focus on paper 2. Once you can nail paper 2, paper 1 is usually easier to handle. So let's look at paper 2 and let's see how that goes. In paper 2, the first question there says simplify 4 into a plus 1 plus 5 into a plus 2. This is my area of competence. I love this area so much. Now, this will give me 4a plus 4. Essentially, it's testing your ability to open brackets. And remember that whatever is multiplying the bracket affects the contents of the bracket absolutely. So this will be 5a plus 10. So previously, I used to tell students to rearrange terms, but I've upgraded more than that. I tell the students, look at it. What terms can you add? Look at it. I can add this too. I can add this too. The idea behind this is to help your brain to adjust to randomness. Help your brain to adjust to what? Randomness. So that gives you that, and the answer will be D. The answer to that question will be D. All right. Okay, so the next one is factorize 16y squared plus 28xy. So here you have to factorize. So factorize is to get out the factors. Now, if you look at this very well, what do you see here that you're also seeing here in terms of factors? This number is even, this number is even. 2 can divide these numbers. 4 can divide these numbers. And I think that's the highest you can get because 4 divided 28 will give you 7. So this will be 4. What can divide these numbers? These letters. I can see y here. I can see y here. So that will be y. I'll be left with 4 what? Y here plus 7x. So that takes care of these this question rather. So that answer will be what? C. What about question 3? Solve the equation 12 over 3x plus 1 equal to 3 over x. Now, this is a very interesting question. But over the years, with my experience of teaching this matter, I discovered that one good thing about algebra is that algebra ignites your thinking ability. You really need to see. So I always like to take the approach of helping students to see what they need to see in solving this problem. Now, most students will go ahead and say cross multiply. Okay, I have an issue with it, but let's not worry so much about that cross multiplying. Okay. But do you know that there is a very important principle you need to take note of here? That when you have an equality, the divisions will be between the numerator sides or the denominator sides. So the first thing you do is to look at your numerator sides or denominator sides. Are there numbers or letters that can cancel out? And in this scenario, if you look at it very well, I can divide here by 3, I can divide here by 3, and that will be 4. What we have just done may not look relevant now, but if you keep doing it, you have triggered an aspect of your brain. Anytime you see a problem, you want to think. And that's the reason why I'm one of those teachers that uphold the principle of don't use a calculator. Because there are a certain aspect of your brain rather, that you excite when you don't use a calculator. So with this, see what we've done? And that will give me what? 4x equal to what? 3x plus 1. So from here, 4x minus 3x will be equal to 1, which means that x will be equal to 1. So you see that that answer is 1, and that will be what? E. Now let's go to question 4. In question 4, you are told that 7, find the value of n if 4n over 7 plus n over 3 will be equal to 5 plus 3 over 7. Now, there are different ways you can go about solving this, and there are 2 clear methods you can use to solve this. I, as a person, usually prefer to look for the LCD and use the LCD to multiply through. In this scenario, the LCD is 21. The LCD will be to compare 7, 3, and 7. Now that's one scenario. Now, so what happens now is that this 21 will divide this, or rather 21 divided by 7 times this will give me 12, and 21 divided by 3 times 3 will give me 7, and equal to 21. This is over 1. Every time you see a whole number, it's always over 1. The reason a number is that a whole number is that whole number is because what is dividing it is 1. Don't forget that. So this will now give you what? 5. 21 times 5, which will give me what? 105 plus 21 divided by 7, that will give me 3. 3 times 3 will give me 9. So what do you have? This will be 19n equal to 114. I think 19 can divide through, and that will be 19 times 6, if I'm right. Yes, so n will be equal to 6. And that answer will be E. Now that's one approach. I've also seen students use this interesting approach too. They look at these two. What's the LCM there? 21. And then they take this one out. 21 divided by 7 3 times is 12. And plus 21 divided by 3, that's 7 plus 7. And equal to, what's the LCM of this one? It's 7. 7 divided by 1 times 5 is 35. Plus 7 divided by 7, 1. I see that, times 3. So from this point, applying my concept of your observation, you know that when you have equations now, what you check out is, can something divide the denominator? And as you observe them, you deal with it. Now, I know that from my observation here, 3 can go here. I'm going to get what here? 27 can go here, I'll get 3. 7, I'll get 1. So this will be 19n over 3 equal to 38. Is that not? So look again. 19 can go here 1, 19 can go here 2. So n will now be what? 2 times 3, and that will be 6. Whichever method you use, you are very, very correct. Very, very and absolutely correct. Hear this, there is no absolute method when it comes to solving maths. There are methods, but just like in a game of football, what now matters is masterpiece. Who can use the right methods in the scenario presented? There are some methods that you use that will take you to the answer quicker. There are some methods that sometimes when I teach, I insist you use because it helps to trigger certain aspects of your brain. That's the essence of maths. A good mathematician is one who can excite different aspects of his processor. And okay, I think I should try this method here. It's going to work. Right, so that's for question 4. Now question 5. In question 5, which of the following inequalities is true? Now let's look at this. We're given a number of them, -2. And we're going to critique them. So let's critique what we have. -2 is greater than -4. That's not, I mean, -4 is greater than -2. That's not possible. When it comes to negative numbers, coming to negative numbers, the higher this figure, the smaller it is. So a person who is owing 10 naira can never be better than someone who's owing 2 naira, because debt presents a greater liability on you. That's it. So this one means I don't have. Also, I don't have 2. I don't have 4. I need 2 to make my own completed. So this one is not there. Now let's look at this. No negative number can be greater than the positive. No negative number can be greater than the positive. So that's why this one will not fly. Same thing here too. No negative number can be greater than the positive, no matter. All positive numbers are greater than negative numbers. Now look at this one. This one will mean what? 8 greater than 8. That's not true. The problem here is the sign. This will mean 8 equal to 8. That's the right sign there. So that's why this one will not be correct. All right. Now let's look at this. This is the correct answer. 12 is greater than 5. 12 is greater than 5. So that answer will be what? E. That answer will be E. All right, so that's the much we'll take for this morning. And in our next meeting, we'll start from question 6.